Yorubas will say that Iya Obakari ki to gbon. It means that until suffering is democratized, it is not possible to end it. The suffering in Nigeria has now been democratized. Long ago, I predicted that the Nigerian revolution will start in northern Nigeria. The only reason I said so at the time is because the North had always been the reason we could not find common purpose to fight the evil. But now that the person in power in the presidency is not a northerner and is at best a nominal Muslim, and the suffering has now been fully democratized, the northern street, I'm not talking about the northern elite, the northern street has no interest in forbearing and continuing to suffer. Why is it that all of a sudden everything that they tolerated during the years of Muhammadu Buhari is no longer tolerable? Have you considered that? Look, I don't know how long it's going to take, but if this mess continues, the problem that will consume this government will start in. Oh, I am very, very happy. I thank God for Tinubu. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have known that we can have fake bishops. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have known that some men that I thought were honorable men are not honorable. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have lost more than half the people I grew up with and thought were my friends, who have now discovered are largely ethnic and ethno-religious jingoists. And they are not just Yorubas. Some Igbos are amongst them, and some Hausas as well. I'm talking about friends across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Tinubu has been very good at unveiling the true nature of people. So all the horrible people who had been busy protesting to be men of God, one can see them clearer. That's because of Tinubu. If Tinubu were to be a man whose evil was ambiguous, if it was possible to say maybe he's not bad, it would have been very easy for them to continue pontificating and sounding like men of God. But the fact that the man is so unrepentantly and clearly evil, and they have found accommodation for him, and they are the ones that give it to him. Obasanjo remains the best of the lot that has governed this country, and yet the very best of the lot that has governed Nigeria, the extent of his vision when he was given a lion cub was to build an enclosure there is no more than about 3 by 3 square meters for a lion. Who is going to walk that lion? How is that lion going to get any exercise? Inside the concrete cage. That is the vision governing Nigeria. They cannot see beyond the moment. Pimpish imagination, all of them. What have they built? What do you see in Nigeria that is futuristic outside of their greed?
But the realness doesn't stop you from use your words. The realness doesn't stop you from opening business, getting clients, getting customers, or doing what you need to do as an entrepreneur to build it.
You see, that is the error right there. Let me take on the toga of the entrepreneur now. Sometimes you don't even have power for days at a time. You're running a business and it is your job to provide energy supply, power supply to your own business. Buhari went and commissioned it, and we were afflicted by life proceedings for hours on end on the day in question. We are a nation of liars. They have created rent seekers who make money from the putrefied system. They erect toll gates based on monopolies. So they make money, and then you're pointing at them as though that is available to everybody else. Look, young people have been reduced to gamblers, prostitutes, Uber drivers. You know how many graduates are driving Uber in Lagos and everywhere else? Because it's about the only way they can become self-employed without being dependent on the system for their livelihood. The easiest way to become self-employed in Lagos is to be able to buy a Corolla. So you buy a Corolla, you become a Uber driver. And then you have to start dealing with the madness of the Nigerian police and all the multiple checkpoints that the state has created to fleece you even more. If it was so nice, if the opportunities were so available, why would everybody be running away? The best and brightest of this country are running every day. They are not migrating, they are fleeing. Well, first thing first, I'll probably take into cognizance the preponderance of Nigerian vision for their country. If you go into Nigerian history, pre-independence and post-independence, and then you juxtapose that against both the Abacha Constitutional Conference and the Jonathan Conference, you'll find that the Nigerian people have more or less agreed that they want to have 6 regions in Nigeria. So I would like to see that happen. I would like to see a Nigeria governed first by a 6 regional structure, but that is also anchored to the rule of law. I would like to see a Nigeria where it doesn't matter who you are subject to law. Because without the law ruling in a space, you can never have citizens in that space. It is only spaces ruled by law, governed by law. It is only in those spaces that you can have citizens. In the absence of the rule of law, there can never be citizenship. So I would like to see a Nigeria governed by law, where
It has proven that with the right leaders, we can actually turn around the fortunes of our country. Look at the Singaporean example. Look at the Malaysian example. And leadership is not rocket science. Simple. How can you remove subsidy? You remove subsidy from day one and you said you are going to hit the ground running. But Baba started crawling on day one. After removing subsidy, he did not do anything else. What we now find a situation in NNPC is they have done everything to frustrate crude oil refining in the country. NNPC is the only agency of government where they produce nothing, but they consume almost all our money. Same thing with CBN. Generate nothing. All they do there is corruption. A leader, one single leader, from the body language of the president can actually effect change in the country. So when the body language of the president suggests a situation of, patronage, this president has sent an executive bill to the National Assembly. The IG, they want to extend the Senate of IG in one day. They did accelerated hearing for bill. So you are not sending accelerated bills to the Senate on how to get crude oil to Dangote.
I have broken my word, would be clear. I said if he won the presidency, I'll leave Nigeria on exile. So let me clear that up. For him to have won, the people would have had to have voted for him. We didn't vote for him. He stole the presidency. Yakubu and INEC sold him the presidency. The presidency is not an expression of the people's will. It is an expression of the debauchery of INEC and the height of our judicial corruption. He did not win the presidency. If I had left, I would have been sanitizing and deodorizing a skunk. If nothing else, I rise and fall by my word. And when I said that I would live on exile if this man won, it was so that people will know that I do not believe Nigerians to be depraved enough to be possessed of the idiocy to vote somebody like him into power. And they did not. Anybody who prefers to delude themselves can continue to delude themselves, but Tinubu knows, INEC knows, the judiciary knows, and so do a lot of Nigerians, that Tinubu did not win the presidency. He stole it. So I'm not leaving because he did not win. It's that simple. That I'm still here is in rebuke of him. It actually cost me a lot more to stay here. It's not just the multiple level of danger that I face on a daily basis by remaining in Nigeria. Because if they will be planning my murder 3 years ago when they were not in power, one of his goons in Lagos State was the one sat at the head of the plot to kill me. They are the ones in power now. Ordinarily, I should run now. But I'm here. I am here because he did not win. He knows it. And every man and his dog in Lagos State knows it. He was beaten resoundingly in Lagos on the 25th of February. He couldn't even make 15% in Lagos. Segun Agbaje, the INEC commissioner in Lagos State, cannot produce the form EC8A for Lagos State up till today. I was the person who was charged by the Obi legal team to collect the election material from INEC. He could not, up until today, INEC in Lagos State cannot give us the form EC8A, which is the polling unit level result. Because they know he lost. He lost woefully. He was thoroughly rejected across the length and breadth of the state that he has held hostage. For 24 years as at that time, he lost. So how much more the other parts of Nigeria? Let them continue fooling themselves. He has snatched it, grabbed it, but he can't run with it. And that's why we are all in the mess that we are in today. So yeah, if he had won, if Nigerians had been foolish enough to have voted for him, I would have left. It wouldn't be because of him. It would be out of protest that I could be stuck with such evil people who would have found the grace to vote for somebody like him. But as I have said, they did not vote for him. They rejected him. He has forced himself on us. And we can't do much about that. But I'm not going to legitimize his stealing by leaving. He didn't win.
Good evening, my people. Welcome to Local Matter. Another update on day like this. So, the human rights lawyer activist who is being known for speaking the truth about the Nigerian system of government has came to analyze why disunity and corruption succeeded in our country. But the truth of the matter is that the only way Nigeria can be democratic is when religion and tribalism is being taken out of Nigeria politics. That is the only way we can come together, acted like one, and voted our corrupted leader out of Nigeria politics. But make I not talk too much now. Mona watch this video. Mona hear wetin this woman they talk about corruption for inside this video. And if today be the first time where they come across this channel, I beg don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that whenever we drop another Ogbonge video, now you go be the first person where go see more. Thank you.
So when I was asked to be finance, I was deploying all my knowledge. But I found out that as finance minister, when I needed to pay salaries, I had to transfer money, cash, to the Ministry of Agriculture, for instance. So we got the phenomenon of ghost workers who became ghost pensioners. And we don't even have an electronic platform or a financial management system. We went into a project to build this platform. But it takes a long time. We started, and when I left in 2006, it was not finished. And people were fighting all the way. So in 2011, when I was called, when I realized that this project had basically been stopped after I left, I decided it's one of the reasons I went back. Because those people would not want me to come back. So they could keep blocking and putting ghost workers. So we went back, and by the time I left the second time, we had 75% completed it. We had weeded out 64,000 ghost workers. We had saved $1.1 billion for the government.
To have the right pension. What has happened is unbelievable, Nigerians, that anybody that is an Inspector General of Police, that is from the AIGs to the IGP, they are on a different pension scheme. Anybody that is from Commissioner of Police to the constables, they are on a slavish pension scheme. That is to say, when they are done with their 35 years of service, they get a gratuity of less than 2 million naira. You know, when we were growing up, and this was something I changed with someone upstairs earlier, our parents who were in the civil service, we do everything to keep us going to school, because they know that when they retire, their gratuity will be the first time they will buy land. Some of them buy cars, and some of them go on vacations with their gratuity. But the gratuity of Nigerian police and several other workers today, when they finish working for 35 years, is not up to 1 week allowance of a senator or a House of Rep member. 1 week after working for 35 years. I mean, what country are we in? And like we said the last time, we are not doing this because elections are coming. We are doing this because people exist in this country that deserve a better life. And we believe that the resources of Nigeria can serve the Nigerian people. So, but we cannot have resources of Nigeria go round where you have greedy people cornering everything that belongs to everybody, to a few. That is why you see that we are in these struggles, and that's why they drag us from court to court for cyber crime, treason, and all these foolish and frivolous and reckless charges that you have seen. Either it is, if it's not coming from the DSS, it's coming from police or their affiliates. Or the other strategy they use is to go to court and sue us for libel. I have 15 libel cases, 15, at the FCT court alone. Tomorrow, I'm going to be facing another libel case against Fayemi, the man who constructed an airport that did not have any flights land there. And he wants to become the ambassador of Nigeria to the United States. And now that Tinubu is probably not going to give him the ambassadorship, he has put his leg on one of the fake activism project that they just started with El Rufai and the rest of them. And one leg in APC, one leg in new PDP. Maybe they will create a new APC too, again. So these are some of the things that are important to us. But we want to also continue to assure our citizens, brothers, sisters out there, that there's no reason to be afraid of anybody in this country. In fact, what has led to the decadence in our society, the oppression that you have seen over time, is that so many of you are too fearful. Even when you have not been charged with anything, you are afraid. Even when you have not been slapped by police, you are afraid. You are afraid in your dreams. You are afraid in your houses. Your father is afraid. Your mother is afraid. Your sister is afraid. And then you transfer the fear to your children. And then you have a society that is fearful. of both the seen and unseen signs of oppression.